Morning, folks. I want to give you an update on how my compost heating experiment has been going. I know I uploaded the first video just this past week, but it was actually about 2 weeks old, the work that I had done. So here's my compost pile. It's time to turn it again. Now, how do I know that? Well, because it's starting to cool off. When I first started circulating the water through, it was at 145 degrees. We had a cold snap, and by 3 or 4 days later, the water circulation had dropped the temperature in the pile to about 100 degrees, which is too low for the active bacterial composting that I really want. So I turned the pump off to let the compost pile heat back up again. And it got up to about 115, 118, and it stayed there. Now, of course, it's 25 degrees today. Yes, even here in Mississippi. We're in North Mississippi. So it's cold, but I think that the reason the compost pile is not heating up is not due to the ambient temperature, but due to the bacterial activity. So time to turn it again, add some fresh compost material to it, and we'll see what happens. What I'm going to do this time is actually move it somewhere else and try my second method of heating. This isn't going to be free heat for the row of tomatoes. This is going to be a low impact heat. One of the problems I have down here in the greenhouse, I mentioned it several times, I've only got two 30 amp breakers running down here, so there's not a whole lot that I can do as far as electric heat. I don't know if you remember last year, I tried those in-ground direct burial heating cables. They were a disaster. What I have done, though, is stuck two of those down in the water tank, and to heat the water up, kind of acting like a fish tank heater. Checked it this morning. They've been on for a week. The water was 90 degrees. Again, it's 20 degrees outside. The water was 90 degrees in the tank. So what I'm going to do is use those and to heat the water up in my tank, circulate it onto the ground, and keep track of the soil temperature while I'm waiting for this pile to heat up for a different bed. So we'll show you that in a second. I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'm going to take my compost pile apart. Now, granted, it is 25 degrees outside. It's, I don't know, maybe 35 degrees inside. But you see the steam coming off of here? Yeah, it's accentuated by the cold air, but still, this is impressive. This is actually my first big compost pile that I've done like this. And you know, the smell is not at all a smell of any sort of manure or animal waste. The smell is that of, well, mainly wet straw, but it smells like dirt, which is one of the good indications of well-made compost. I would say this compost is not fully finished yet. Maybe one more turn, but man, on a cold day, it sure does feel nice. I'm not going to stick my hand in there. My wife was going to watch this eventually. But it sure does warm my heart to see that it's one of my projects is actually working. Don't tell my wife.